what is going on? It's your boy Patrick Michael Strange. This is the NRW where we give you the NEW. And I have with me today with our infamous trailer reacts. First up, my man Gianno Cologne, Bizarre from Not Quite Accurate Cosplay. How are you, brother?
I'm ready.
He's ready.
My body is ready.
His body is ready, y'all. And of course, the precious person to my left-hand side whose body is ready as well. I haven't seen him in a long time, so I hope his precious body is ready. My man, Commodore Shinrock. CY. How are you, brother?
I'm okay. I'm a little
missed
tired.
you.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Braids longer.
Yeah.
A little bit wider.
Yeah.
But you're still looking good, man.
All right.
So, we know, of course, with having CY on the show, and you've seen him before, you've seen his get to know. There's limited things that this man likes to talk about. And one of the things that we found today to have him speak on is Star Wars. Are you aware of the Star Wars Fallen Order that was launched at Star Wars Celebration? This new game that we're getting?
I mean, I know as much as anyone else does who's,
Okay.
you know, basically they dropped a trailer, they talked a little bit about it going on, but there hasn't been much news since the name drop, so we'll see what happens. But
All right.
I have opinions.
Okay.
So let's roll.
So let's check it out. I haven't seen the trailer yet. Gianno, you haven't seen the trailer yet?
Nope.
Okay, so this is going to be a fresh react, y'all. Our first time seeing the new trailer for the game Fallen Order, and we'll go into all of our thoughts, opinions, and I just hope that it's good, you know, because they have a lot of they have a big shooter filled with the Forces Unleashed, which was a favorite of mine. So
And just
I know
any single player game at this point. That's the big thing that they've been missing since EA took over the license and Disney took over the franchise.
Very true. Very true. Let's check this out. Fallen Order from EA. Electronic Arts.
Yes.
Wasn't always like this. But now, there are 3 rules to survive. Don't stand out. This is the past. Trust no one. The galaxy has changed. Whatever you do, don't reach.
Yeah. Like that.
Don't stand out.
Figure the force you said what you are.
Accept the past. Execute Order 66. Trust no one. Trust only in the Force.
November 15th. Might have to be a birthday present to myself because my birthday is on the 9th. All right, guys. I'm intrigued. I love that they're expanding more of the universe. They're not beholden to the key characters that we know and love. We're getting new characters, fresh characters, more of the universe. We really didn't get too much, but from what I saw, I'm all about it.
Well, they released some more information during the panel where they debuted the trailer, which I picked up on.
Okay.
I mean, the short version is that this is a game that takes place between the prequels and the original trilogy.
Okay.
You're playing as the Padawan who's now in hiding because Order 66, all that, the Jedi are now being hunted.
Okay.
You saw briefly, they've got some decent names attached to it so far. The Jedi mentor who you're, on the run with is Deborah Wilson from Mad TV days.
Okay.
That's who, if you saw in the trailer someone who looked like Deborah Wilson, but very
Okay.
CGI like
Okay.
Deborah Wilson.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
The Padawan is, I think his name is Cameron Moynihan, whatever. He's the guy who's
Oh!
the Joker from
Oh,
Gotham.
Cameron, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
He's the one that's Joker on?
Pretty much.
among
yeah.
other things.
Actually, you know what? I could see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
They kind of modeled even the visual.
I mean, we can get
Okay.
into Gotham, but that'll be like a half-hour segment on itself just to get us
Definitely.
started. But you know, and this is a similar thing. Like I was saying earlier, that this seems to have a lot of similarities to a couple of years ago. They had the Force Unleashed project,
Yes.
where they wanted to have a big media presence type of game set between the two trilogies.
Yeah.
And they got some decent names involved with that, who eventually actually evolved and went on to bigger and better things. Like the big thing about Force Unleashed was a big launching pad for Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
He was originally just brought
yeah.
in to do motion capture and be the character, and then they turned out, wait, he can actually do voices. So that's where he got started doing Darth Maul. That's where he started doing voiceovers for Emperor Palpatine, and he's broadened out. And he's like on every CW show.
A
these
named
days.
voice actor. Yeah.
But like prior to Force Unleashed, the only credit he had was he had a bit role in Battlestar Galactica, and someone liked him well enough to put him in the game, and from there he's become a fairly big name.
Yeah.
So this could be a similar jumping off point for Cameron Moynihan if he does a good enough job with that.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Well, I mean, he's done a good enough job with everything I've seen him in thus far.
Yeah,
I've seen him in other things other than
Yeah.
just Gotham, and every role I've seen him in, he nails it.
He's a pretty good character.
Terrifies
style
me,
actor.
actually.
He's got that look too.
Yeah.
He's got a maniacal look too.
There's also like you see in the thumbnail for the trailer, and one of the antagonists that keeps showing up is this woman in a big helmet.
Yeah, kind of
That's-
Vader-esque.
Dark helmet.
Yeah.
It's actually the design of that character. They haven't officially announced that it's the same one, but it's one of the Inquisitors that was in Star Wars Rebels,
Okay.
called the Seventh Sister, and that was voiced by Sarah Michelle Gellar in the show. So they haven't announced that she's in the game, but
Wouldn't be
considering how
surprised.
prominent that character seems to be in the trailer, I'm assuming that.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a name.
Yeah.
And it's basically the same role that she had in the show. Is there's an order called the Inquisitors, which are
Yeah.
basically helping Darth Vader hunt down the remaining Jedi.
Nice.
So that's where that kind of comes in.
Okay.
So,
I dig that. I'm sold on all of that.
Yeah, but other than that, the gameplay also looks very much like Force Unleashed was very much. It was a third-person action adventure experience. Being
It was
Jedi.
a fun game. It
Yeah.
was a really fun game.
And this seems to be very much in that spirit, from
Yeah.
a different take, obviously. Instead of being the super-powered Darth Vader's apprentice who can, tear Star Destroyers out of the sky, you're a much more run-of-the-mill Padawan.
Cool.
But it looks like you're going to get to experience what it's like to be a Jedi, and in particular, being a Jedi that's, on the run.
Yeah.
So,
one of the things you had brought up earlier when we were talking is we are both Force Unleashed fans, but kind of like when they dropped this, though, they didn't really conclude on Force Unleashed. So do you want to talk on that a little bit? Or are you a little... Well, obviously, we're kind of a little dismayed that they didn't complete it. Do you think maybe, or is there hopes that we kind of get a conclusion?
It doesn't seem likely
they're even going to touch it.
It doesn't seem likely, mostly because that project, like a lot of other projects, fell victim to the change in ownership. Basically, around when the Force Unleashed project was happening was when Disney bought out Star Wars, pretty much, and Lucasfilm and everything else. The second Force Unleashed game had done well, but not great. But, all things being equal, we probably would have gotten a third game. However, with all the shuffling between the change of ownership, the change in licenses, the fact that, LucasArts, the game studio, just, collapsed and disappeared, it doesn't seem likely, especially if they're starting basically a new franchise that's very, very similar, but is not going to take advantage of that. So it seems like this is going to be what we have for a while.
Oh. It'll satiate our thirst for that, even though we don't have Force.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
would
like
be nice if they could.
Yeah, it looks like a good game. It looks like an interesting story. I'm looking forward to it. It's just particularly annoying because if anyone has played Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2, Force Unleashed 2 very much ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Where there's very obviously supposed to be more to that story.
Yeah.
And the further we get away from that, the more it's becoming obvious that we're never going to see where that was supposed to go, even if it's...
Gotcha.
Even, whether or not Disney considers it canon, because they don't consider the old stuff canon anymore.
Yeah.
It was just, it was a hook.
Yeah.
It was designed to be a hook. It worked as a hook, and I'm still kind of waiting for that to pay off, even though it's very obviously not happening.
I feel you.
So
okay, maybe they also have the comic book lines in a lot of the comic book stuff. I know they've kind of completed some of the stories out. I think, from what I understand.
Not really.
No.
The one thing that they did was that they did do some adaptations of Clone Wars scripts, which are now being animated anyway. That's another thing that was announced at Celebration.
Oh, really?
We're getting another season of Clone Wars.
Okay. Nice.
Which is basically going to be the last batch of scripts that they had that didn't get made because of the change in ownerships that happened around the end of Clone Wars.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I'm intrigued. You have any further commentary on this? Did you play a little bit of The Force Unleashed?
I got to play it a little bit, not as much as most people did, because at the time I didn't really own any consoles and I didn't own the game.
Okay.
So I got to dabble in it a little bit. So unfortunately, I'm not as in depth with that. But I will say this: looking at the trailer alone, I see. I hate the story already.
Oh, really?
And the only reason is because it's that typical of. Everybody's trying to hunt these kind of people. One person happens to pop up with the powers. Now everybody wants them dead. It's a hunter be hunted story, and I get burned out on those a little bit. However, with the one thing that does pique my interest in it is the fact that they are doing it in the world of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Star Wars has always been either the unknown person or the too powerful people. Mm-hmm. So now we are playing in the middle. And so that one, I'm like, okay, if we can take that same story, but let's add something to it to make it more unique, more fresh. Okay, give it to me. You know, I mean, I am interested to play it just by looking at it. I'm just really hoping it's not a predictable story. That's all I want. Just don't make it predictable.
Yeah, it's a very risky premise because they've already dipped into this well of examining a surviving Jedi once. That was basically the entire premise of a 4-season long show called Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which it subverted a lot of things that we were expecting from that show, but it also had a very, there's a very integral part to the original trilogy Star Wars, which is that Luke is the last of the Jedi, which gets diluted every time we find out, except this guy who survived, this guy who survived, this guy who survived.
It reminds me of Dragon Ball when Goku was supposed to be the last Saiyan, and it's like, there's only supposed to be one Saiyan alive. Here's 12 more. Yeah. By the way.
Gotcha.
So, but I mean, like I said, if they do it right and they give us a good story that's not predictable and makes sense, then I'm in.
All right. Would you like to see any cameos since it is set in between that time frame that some of our key characters exist? Or would you want them to completely stay away from it and just give us original content?
There are some that I expect to see. Like, I can't imagine that even if he's only a threatening hologram in the background, we're going to get something from Darth Vader, because that's supposedly one of his big missions in between the trilogies.
That Inquisitor.
Well, he's in charge. He runs the. He oversees the Inquisitors. Yeah, he's basically. And again, a lot of this came up if you watched Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
He's basically. He's the Emperor's right-hand man, and one of his side tasks is hunt down the remainder of the Jedi. By the way, here are some tools we have. Those are the Inquisitors.
Okay.
So, hopefully he won't be the fixation of the game, because we've got so many games that will fixate on Vader. We don't need another one. I prefer...
True. Very true.
I like seeing more to the universe than just everything being about Vader. But that being said... Sure, he's going to show up in a hologram at some point, at least.
And I think as long as they keep a lot of the characters we've already seen so much of to the background, I think it'll be okay. I agree with you. We've seen all the movies, we've played the games, we've seen the stories, we know these characters, and you really can't have these games without these cameos. Hell, we got a cameo of the Sarlacc pit. Yeah. But you're right. I want to see it be a story that's going to be told without the need to carry on from. This. Yeah. Let it be a part of the world, but not the world.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Rebels did a pretty good job on straddling that. They had a decent number of cameos. They had a decent number of known characters show up, but it was very much their story, both on protagonist and antagonist side. The known players would show up when it was appropriate. Tarkin showed up as an oh shit moment. Vader showed up as an oh shit moment. But they didn't stick around long enough to have something, like the Worf effect, where it's like, well, why is Vader such a threat considering he keeps getting his ass handed to him? They have managed to avoid that in the show.
So give us a little bit and just let the story be its story.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys ain't gonna have any other last words on this before we give our thumbs up, thumbs down to the side and all that?
I mean, not unless you want to spend another, hour and a half discussing the aspect of new canon since Disney bought out Star Wars or something like that. But,
You know, we could. That's more content. I'm all about the content.
Yeah.
Let's save that for another episode.
yeah, I think this is just, a trailer reaction.
All right, guys.
All right, maybe we should
So
react to the trailer.
what we do with every reaction to these upcoming projects is we give it either a thumbs up if we're definitely checking it out, thumbs down if it's a nah, or to the side if it's a maybe. So you guys ready to fist it? We're gonna fist Star Wars. You like that, right?
This is weird shit I get into. And you wonder why I'm not in any of the videos.
All right. Well, we're gonna fist it, brother. I hope you're ready. Put them fists out. Let's fist it. All right. And a 1, 2, 3. Ching. Definitely checking out. I am a Star Wars stan. I think thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up across the board. Although we are kind of sad we're not getting The Force Unleashed 3.
But,
but,
as much as it's a topic conversation, it's at some point you just have to realize that, the old stuff that we cared about went away, and we just have to enjoy what we have now.
Just be careful; they might tie that into it.
Doesn't seem likely. Disney, seriously,
I
I
agree.
think as long as Disney has
but
pretty
watch
much
them
trashed everything.
Watch them try.
So, yeah.
And what I always say to that is, we may not have got 3, but you still have 1 and 2. They still exist. Go back and play them again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're still there. So there you go, guys. Let us know in the comments below if you're going to check out The Fallen Order.